Who better to ask why the media is a little bit biased towards Tua than a guy who's been doing it for 30 plus years? What is up, Finn fans? Another Big O and Doug show. I kind of like that. Big O and Doug show. But another one, another week. This is a good episode. We're talking a lot about the trade that happened, the free agent signing, or not free agent signing, contract extension of Xavier Howard. I try to pick his brain because we noticed that there's like an unwarranted hatred kind of from some of the media members towards Tua. Some aren't. Pat McAfee defended Tua a few times, but it's just, to me, it's unwarranted. To some of you might think it's warranted. So I asked Big O kind of, why he thinks that way. Again, he's been doing it for 30 something years. He can give us a little inside source on that. And I know some of you guys are going to say he's not going to give you an unbiased thing because he's a huge Tua fan. Still asked him though, because I wanted to get his opinion on it. But yeah, another great episode. Being Big O, fantastic. As the off season goes on, they might not be every week. We talked about that. He's going to be doing the draft. I'm going to be going on his draft show, even though we're not drafting till the third round. And then when the season kicks back in, then it'll be every week, Big O and Doug show, Big O and Doug show every week. But right now it's kind of dead and quiet, so it's not going to probably be an every week thing. We're still going to do it, but it's like when news breaks, we'll probably make a video, talking about it. But it's not, just to forewarn you guys, it's not going to be an every week thing like it is during the season. And again, when the season kicks back in, even when preseason kicks back in, it's going to be a weekly show. But enough of me rambling. Let's get to the conversation with me and Big O. It's a very good one. He has some very good insights. It's his opinion. I know a lot of you guys, not a lot, but a good amount of you guys don't like what he says, but it's his opinion, and I respect he's been doing it for 30. I think he says 32 years. So you got to respect that. But other than that, guys, I'll see you in the next video. I'm going to do my version of the Miami Dolphin reaction to the 2021 season. Yeah, I do one every year. I just been slacking on doing it, so that'll probably be the next video unless news breaks. But like usual, guys, stay classy and fins up. It was a busy weekend this past weekend, and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about let's get I want to talk about something important, right? So it seems like every chance ESPN, NFL Network, all these people get a chance to crap on Tua,
right?
They do it. Now, you are in the media and still are for a very long time. Very long time.
I'm old. It's 32 years. Go ahead, say it. I'm an old bastard.
Can you give people some perspective on why?
Because it sells. Negativity sells. And that's kind of what it is. And because he's a lightning rod, and because he hasn't been a star the first 2 years, you know what I mean? Even though his numbers are actually pretty damn good considering the crap that's around him, but they won't mention that. Listen, I had 3 Dolphin insiders today. 2 of them couldn't wait to mention, well, you got the extra picks next year, just in case Tua doesn't play well, you can trade those picks to get a quarterback. And I'm like, well, how about maybe they do well, and those picks are to add more to the team and make them better? No, it can't be that. It has to be that Tua. They didn't bring the other side up. You know, understand?
Yeah, of course.
I'm the idiot that brings that up. I'm the idiot going, because really, dude, I love what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because what they did the first 3 years, they kind of set their foundation with the draft. This year, they then added a layer of free agency on top of the draft because that youth needed some guidance, right? And now next year you have 2 first rounders, a second, and 2 threes. So now you can lay a layer of young talent again. Because you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, next year will be the 4th year of the draft for this new regime and turning everything over, right? Well, in that 4th and 5th year starts your first years of guys coming off their first deals.
Yep.
And now you will decide to either keep them or let them go. So now you'll keep some, you'll let some go, and then the compensatory phase of this process now starts. because it takes you 4 to 5 years to get there because of your draft picks having to expire those contracts. So all of a sudden now, not only has Chris Greer been thinking forward and having extra picks along the way, he will now start getting extra compensatory picks because you will never be able to sign all your players.
No.
That's just the way it is. So they're all so quick to use the picks next year to talk about trading up for a quarterback. Whereas, wait a minute, hold on a second. They won 9 and 10 games with no offense, no coaches. So now that they've got the coaches, you don't think they're going to win 11 or 12 games now and they're actually going to be better? And maybe those picks will be used to help build the team, not because the quarterback's a failure, but again, what sells? The drama. So let's tell you everything that could go wrong with Tua, because that's what will keep you on your seat. Because if we talk about all the good things, nobody cares. Nobody ever talks about it, except on our show, obviously.
Yeah, because a lot of people on Twitter and stuff are like, it bothers them, and rightfully so, because you saw Chris Long, even Pat McAfee defended too, because they were talking about Derek Carr and DeVante Adams, and he brings up Tua. He's like, oh, well, Tyreek Hill's not going to do anything because Tua, and Pat McAfee was like, why did you, like, what was the point of that? And even on the show,
I would have turned around and told the guy, hey, do you know that Pat Mahomes throws more short passes than anybody else in the NFL? And then he would have gone, huh? What? Huh? Yeah, because they rely a lot on Yak. Of course, you have your bombs.
Yeah.
They make it sound like there's 5 bombs in every game or something. Dude, it's a few a year that you have. You don't know. And by the way, let me remind folks again, bomb plays, the ball's in the air 30 yards, maybe. It's the receiver that makes it 70 and 80 and 90. The ball's not in the air 70 yards. I saw Tua throw 70 yards. Dude, you're never going to throw a 70-yard bomb. It'll be rare. It'll be a Hail Mary. It'll be something stupid like that. You don't normally throw 70-yard bombs. And please, let's not make it sound like that's something that everybody does every single week. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But that's what I would have turned around. Who was it with Pat McAfee that said that? And I would have shut Chris Long down right there. I would have said, well, tell me, because, I get that the quarterback is awesome.
Yeah.
I get he's awesome. I love the kid. He's fantastic. Mahomes is awesome. But in that offense, they throw more short passes than Tua does. So what do you want me to do? You know what I mean? Who cares how you win, dude?
Exactly.
Just find a way to win the damn game.
Just win. That's it. Looking at what they did this weekend, right? Well, this weekend and a little bit of last week. We'll talk about the first thing that happened. Xavier Howard's contract extension. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, look, after you paid all of these guys and also guaranteed more money with Jones, you either had to trade X or sign him. You didn't have, there was the option of oh no, X, yeah, we'll revisit it next year. You got to play on the deal this year. That third option would have been a disaster.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, you're Chris Greer. And I was thinking about this. I talked about this on Saturday's show that we did. You failed with Flo.
Yep.
Okay, you got a break now. More often than not, they don't give you a chance to hire a second coach. You got to hire a second coach. You need him to win.
Yeah.
You need him to be successful. Probably not a good thing is to trade X at this moment, because that makes his transition a little harder.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden now you're throwing Noah in there, probably a veteran that you sign and a draft pick, and 3 guys that are going to try to fight out to fill X's spot. Maybe you do it, or maybe you don't, and it becomes a problem for your team. So if you want him to succeed, and I'm talking about Mike McDaniel, and he needs to have the train of thought that he's got to fix the offense, well, the defense cannot be a problem for him. Sign the cornerback. So I understand the method behind the madness. It makes all the sense in the world. Plus, I'll tell you this also. I didn't think Greer signed them to a crazy deal also.
No, I just pulled it up so we could talk about it. It's a really, they have an out after 2023.
I know. And that's probably, he'll probably play 2 years and then he's out.
People, when they saw the contract, blew it out of proportion. Oh, the most guaranteed money. He's going to be making $25 million a year. He's making $8 million this year, 24 next year, and then they can cut him and save 12 million.
Yeah.
Like Chris Greer, I don't know. Did he go to college for structuring contracts? Because all of his contracts.
No. I think he learned a lot from watching all these other idiots screw up.
He's so good. They're so good. Emmanuel Ogba's contract has an out. Like all of these guys have, like Emmanuel Ogba's not getting paid that much this year, and then next year he has the big money, and then there's an out. So again, if Emmanuel Ogba starts to falter and doesn't produce, move on. It's like every time I see that they signed somebody and then the media comes out and says, oh, it's 25 million a year and da, da, da. I'm like, let me wait till I see the contract.
Right. Wait till you see the contract so you can see the guarantees and where they're at and all that kind of stuff. Exactly. You're smart. And he does a great job. Look, I've said this for a couple of years. This will prove to be one of the best front offices in the NFL. The guys screwed up with their first coach.
Yes.
They need to nail it with this one. I don't believe all the draft picks on offense are a disaster, on the offensive line, that is. There's no way you're hitting on all the other ones and then you miss on the whole line. That doesn't make any sense. And Noah and Hunter don't play. So I'm not waiting. I'm not going to tell you that neither guy can play because they don't play.
Yeah.
So I can't say anything until they play. I think this is a really good front office. I think they know talent. I think they know how to build things. But the problem was they screwed up with the coach, and now they've got to fix this problem here. But if they do fix it, I think the issue with talent kind of settles in, and everybody will then kind of relax. And I think if you looked at this offseason, you had to say, damn, dude, I'm pretty impressed with what the Dolphins did overall. Come on, man. I mean, this has been a really fun offseason, and it gets me super jacked about the upcoming year, man.
Oh yeah. And they did what they should have done, because in 2020 they were aggressive, right? But it was more aggression on the defense. They go Byron, Kyle Van Noy, and now this year it was just all right. The defense is fine.
You had a defensive coach. Now you have an offensive coach.
I'm still iffy about the linebacker situation, but other than that,
the middle linebacker, yeah.
It's stacked. Like it's so good that I'm looking at it. I'm like, where can I worry?
I need one more defensive tackle.
Yeah.
You need a middle linebacker. You need a punter. But you can get that stuff. A running back, maybe, if you want to get a guy in the draft, you can do that too if you want. It's not like a major need, but if you want to start grooming a kid, you can do that. There's a couple of needs left. You know what I mean? There was a guy this morning on Twitter. Well, okay, yeah, but they still need a tackle and a linebacker and a punter. And I'm like, okay, dude, so what you're saying, the season's shot to shit? That's it? It's over? You know, I mean, come on, bro. Relax. You're not going to fill everything, but they'll find some bodies out there. And I'm sure maybe they're already talking to a middle linebacker too. They're just trying to drive the price down a little bit. You know what I mean? Because you just mentioned it. Chris Greer's not just going to step in and just give you money, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. He structures things responsibly, so you're not stuck with a cap mess.
Yes.
Which was what Miami was constantly in. So he's trying to keep them as fluid as possible from year in and year out. And that was my point of how they're structuring this team, on how they went with free agency, and now they're ready for the draft again next year to be heavy in picks. It is very intelligent the way they're doing things.
Yeah, 100%. The other move from this weekend, it was surprised. I wasn't surprised that they traded DeVante Parker. I kind of predicted that they would, but to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Now I told Patriot fans came on my channel, were asking me questions, and I was honest with them. I said he's good. He's a good receiver if he stays healthy, but I'm not as apprehensive and nervous as the Wes Welker trade, because this is what Parker's like 7th year versus Welker's 2nd year, and two different players. So are you worried about facing DeVante Parker twice a year?
0. Hamstrings in Foxborough's frozen weather. Yeah, no, he couldn't keep it loose in South Florida's heat and humidity. So he's going to keep his hamstrings loose in Foxborough. No, I'm not worried whatsoever. This is Chris Greer bamboozling Belichick once again, like he did with Isaiah Ford.
Yep.
That's all. That's what's going to end up happening. DeVante Parker is a terrific receiver when healthy. Now he can do one thing, but as most of our insiders told us today, in practice, X ate his lunch pretty much every time. So I think they're like, yeah, dude, we'll just put X on him and we'll lock him out and we'll take him out and it's over and we don't have to worry about it. And I know what they're doing. They have a kid that is very comfortable in the short and intermediate game. And that's kind of what he does. You know, he's kind of a little Tannehill-ish, that he's a man in the box. And Parker is a guy that's going to be catching those slants and short passes and big targets, and that's kind of what they want to do with him. But I have zero concerns about that trade, and I love the fact that now the Dolphins have 2 1s, a 2 and 2 3s in next draft, and that's just going to be so much fun again in Las Vegas next year to do that, because we're not going to go to Green Bay. We're going to go to Las Vegas.
The draft is going to be
Detroit. No, it's Detroit.
Detroit.
It's Detroit and then Green Bay, or Green Bay then Detroit. I don't know.
Detroit then Green Bay, but still,
okay, either way, I'm going to Vegas in both years.
Why?
I think that's what we're gonna do in our show now. We're gonna go to Vegas for the draft every year, unless it comes here one day. Yeah. It's got to be a killer city for us to leave Vegas for the draft. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about the draft now. Let's go, because it is April, so it is draft month. I want to just pick on what you just said. Why in the flim flam would they go to Detroit?
Money. That's all I give a shit about, dude.
No one's going to pay the most.
It's who paid the most, bro. No, but the Detroit people will load it up.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's why. That's what it is. Local, yeah, Chicago, whatever, wherever you go, the local fans are going to, because they never get to go to a draft. Think about it. Very few people actually fly to New York and go into Radio City Music Hall, and sit there next to the smelly Jet fans who are always unhappy. And so, you've got to go, and you've got those, you've got the dregs of society there in the Jets, just ruining the whole building. And so most people don't really get to have that terrible experience of sitting next to Jet fans at Radio City Hall. So now they get to go to Green Bay, and they get to go. Now, see, if it was during the year, which you can't do the draft, and there was a game in Lambeau, then maybe I could do that, because that would be a bucket list. I can go to a game in Lambeau, but I have no interest going to Green Bay in the offseason. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like, and Detroit, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to 8 Mile and start rapping contests all of a sudden. I'm going to start freestyling with people. No, I'm not going to Detroit. So I'm going to Vegas.
So baby. This draft is, I made a joke in the video I released today that it's going to be fun for Dolphin fans having 4 picks. 3rd, 4th, and 2 7th.
Well, think about how much fun we're going to have broadcasting all 3 days of those drafts. That's going to be a lot of fun talking a lot. God. What don't worry, we're going to bother you to join us on the show. Don't worry.
I'll be on the whole time. I'll simulcast both. We got to do something. I'm going to try to predict 1st round picks, and that's all I can do at this point, because there's no way the Dolphins get back in the 1st. There's no point.
No, I don't think the 1st. No,
maybe.
No, the only thing I talked about today on the show, and it'll sound crazy, and I know if you're driving, please pull over right now. The only thing I talked about is if somebody really liked Noah Monogamy in the draft also, and maybe they're willing to give you a 2nd or 3rd rounder. That's about it. That's about it. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't played much, and then they believe he is a player. Like, I'm sure Miami still believes, because if they're going to give you a 4th or 5th or 6th rounder, you probably don't make the trade. You keep them and you try to develop them and play them over the next couple of years. But that's the only way I can see you reacquiring a 2nd or 3rd round pick, is if somebody is willing to take that gamble and say, no, that kid can play. He's a steal. They got him in the 1st. We're going to get a bargain and get him in the 2nd or 3rd and turn him into a player. That's the only way. There's just not a lot of options to get early into the draft. Maybe Gesicki, if you've given up and say, well, we tagged him to protect him and keep him so we can at least get the compensation that we want in return. And maybe that's the only other thing. I don't know how else you get back into the early part of the draft. I don't know if there's any other options.
Now, do you think because because I said this too, that there is the occasion where you find some gems in the third, fourth. 2 7s here. It's rare to find a Tom Brady, but do you think they can pull off some, like in this draft, right? Normally you say you get 2 starters, and it's a pretty good
Miles
draft.
Gaskin is a 7th rounder. Van Ginkel's a 5th rounder.
Yeah.
You can find guys. They've found guys already. Nick Needham's a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course you can find guys, and they will have an opportunity with the 102nd pick from the Niners, which, by the way, great job by Alan Poupard. Do you realize they traded all of their own picks? And their 4 picks, one is the Niners, one is Pittsburgh, one is Baltimore, and one is Tennessee. None of them are theirs. They have traded all of their picks of this draft. The 4 they own are other teams' picks and all of that. But yeah, 102 and 125, you definitely can find somebody. And then your 2 7th rounders, that's like throwing darts.
Yeah,
really.
I always say that
third
that's
and 4th rounder, you got a shot for sure at finding, somebody, man. Hey, what's Brandon Jones? A 3rd rounder?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Late 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I like that kid a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you can find guys in this draft. You can find a defensive tackle for you, a middle linebacker, a running back. Those 3 positions that you need, you might be able to nail one of those with one of those picks, maybe 2 if you're that good, but you should be able to land one of those guys if you're pretty good at drafting in the 3rd or 4th
Would you
round.
be upset if the Dolphins, with that 3rd pick, the 3rd round pick?
Oh God. Know what you're gonna say? Trade down, get 2 4ths and a 5th.
No, stay where they're at. But they take Matt Araiza, the punter out of San Diego State.
They need one.
He's good.
I know. Supposedly, I wouldn't want him kicking me in the ass. But yeah, no, he's fantastic. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But God, can't you get a punter later on in the draft?
Yeah,
you should be able to develop a kid. I mean, whatever happened to those days that you would use your 6th, 7th round pick and a free agent and a punter, and the guy would play for you for 10 years. You know what I mean? It used to happen all the time. I don't know if I need to go to the 3rd round, but I know he is good. He is
good.
Really
I don't know
good.
if he'll be there in the 4th. I think he's ranked 160 out of the prospects. So didn't the Raiders take a kicker in the 1st round? What's his face?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Janikowski. Janikowski was in the 1st round, and they took their punter in the 2nd round, I believe, in the 3rd round, Lechler. And they both were on the team forever. By the way, the Janikowski move in the 1st round, you can't laugh at that move. Do you know why?
Why?
Do you know that he's the Raiders' all-time leading scorer?
Oh my God.
Seabass is the Raiders' all-time leading scorer.
Oh my God.
So when somebody tells you, yeah, but you don't take a kicker in the 1st round, but what if he becomes your all-time leading scorer? Then you have to sit back and go, holy shit, that's a lot of kicks. Okay, I get it. All right. Yeah, that guy is actually pretty good. All right. I get, it's unconventional, but you can't call it like a terrible pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't say the guy got fat and only kicked for you for 2 years. No, he got fat after 20 years. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, he was one hell of a kicker. He's the all-time leading scorer for the Raiders. That's something that most people wouldn't know.
Right? And he had a leg on him.
Why it's dancing in my head, I have no idea, but whatever.
You just have those tidbits in there that you just spurt them out every once in a while.
Ridiculous.
Last thing I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
The Dolphins getting together again. Getting to the building, everyone's there. We're going to talk about this again when we get closer to the season. And you're excited, right? You said you're excited for this.
Hell yeah, dude. God, I'm excited.
Expectations.
I'm excited to see the offensive scheme, the play calling. I'm so excited for Tua because he finally has the help he needs. I think he's going to be a freaking star. I'm different. I think he's a top 10 quarterback. I think he's a winner. I think he can take us to a Super Bowl, but the man needs help just like everybody else. And I think he finally has that help. So, and this offense will make the defense better. If you possess the ball more, if you're able to run the ball, if you're able to score more, the defense will play with the lead. The defense will play fresher because they're not on the field as much. There's not so much of the 3 down and outs, all that crap going on. All of these things can have a great trickle down effect to everything, to individuals, the team, and the success. I am super jacked about the Dolphins season.
It's going to be so
Canes
much
and
fun.
Dolphins, by the way. Canes and Dolphins, because Tyler Van Dyke is going to be a monster, and I love what Mario Cristobal is doing and his staff. So for us, for us South Florida sports fans around the world, our Dolphins and Canes, man, headed for bigger and better things.
So cool that Jason Taylor joined that coaching staff. Like, just so cool.
Yeah.
And then they took a UCLA defensive end goes to Miami, just like Jalen Phillips went. It's gonna can it be August already?
Jason Taylor gets to coach me. I'm here. Yo,
Right?
I'm gone. Come on, bro. Of course. Smart by Cristobal, man. And then they're actually spending money there, which is that was their major problem is, back in the day when they were winning, you didn't need the budgets. Last 15, 20 years, college football changed. You need major budgets in order to win. And finally, they have the biggest budget in the ACC. You would have never said that ever at the University of Miami. I would have never even thought of that in the University of Miami. So Dolphins and Canes, baby. I cannot wait.
Right? August needs
although the Panthers and the Heat are primed to give us.
They just clinched. They both clinched, right?
Yeah. Well, no, they won the 50 games. They're in the playoffs. They were in the playoffs already, but yeah, the Panthers did clinch already, which is crazy stuff with like 13 games left or something. They're already clinched, that's some scary stuff. Yeah, they're good, bro. They're good.
Well, if you want more Miami sports news, Big O, tell them what you got going on this week.
Well, we're on every day starting at 10 a.m. Wednesdays, we come on at 9 a.m. because we have a basketball show with Ira Winderman and Clay Ferraro called Sloman's Inside the Paint. But if you're a South Florida sports fan anywhere in the world, Canes, Dolphins, Marlins, Panthers, Heat, Inter Miami, whatever it is, nobody has more insiders than our show does. We have 5 insiders for the Dolphins. We have a couple of insiders for the Canes. We have 3 for the Miami Heat. We have 2 for the Florida Panthers. So we are covering everything wall to wall. Ian Rappaport nationally also joins us every week. You can follow us at Big O Radio Show. You can find it on all platforms, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all that good stuff. And you can also follow us on Twitter at Big O Show. But Big O Radio Show, please subscribe and support. We appreciate it. And we'll be in Vegas for all 3 days of the draft, covering it wall to wall, no matter what happens. We'll be there. We'll be back there also for the LA Summer League too, for the basketball. Yes, after the Heat hopefully win the title.
Well, be sure to go over, check out Big O, hit that subscribe button. Big O, I will see you in the next one, bud.
You got it, baby. Y'all be good out there. Fins up.